Good afternoon everyone and welcome to Fermanagh GAA TV. We are in Brewster Park this afternoon, the home of Enniskillen and Gales and the focal point of Fermanagh GAA. My name is Ger Treacy and I'm joined here in the studio by the last man to captain Devonish to a championship final victory back in 1996. It is of course Brian Treacy. You're very welcome, Brian.
Thanks, Ger.
Today Fermanagh GAA TV are delighted to bring you this coverage in conjunction with our sponsors. and we will be able to bring you live and uninterrupted coverage of this Quinn Building Products Senior Championship final between the holders Derrygonnelly Harps and their opponents here today, Ederney St Jospehs, who have one title to their name, and that was back in 1968. Today's coverage is brought to you in conjunction with a number of sponsors, and we thank them for their financial assistance in bringing this production to you this afternoon. They are Mckean Fuels, Mohan Memorials, G&M Windows, and the Enniskillen Carpet Centre. As I said, I'm joined here in the studio by Brian Treacy. Brian, this is a big day for both these teams. You were in this position 20 minutes before throw-in time back in 1996. What is different about Championship Final Day?
I suppose, Ger, the whole build-up all week, and the fact that it's a community event, really, and you can't get away from it in that regard. Your families are involved, your friends are involved, you're playing with boys you grew up with, were in primary school with, and so on. So it means maybe an awful lot more than. And a lot of these players today obviously have represented their county on the national stage and in huge occasions in Croke Park and so on. But this is something different, and it's a different type of pressure, I have to say, for a game like this today. And
what will be in players' minds at this juncture now? They're just after coming out onto the field here, both sides. What will these last few moments before throw-in be like for them, and what will they be thinking and focusing on?
Well, again, it'll vary according to the players that are there. You have some very, very experienced players on both sides. For some players, it's their first championship final day, and they'll be quite nervous. They just wanting to get the ball thrown in and get the game started. I think that's where everybody's at this stage. We were watching the two teams warming up there a few moments ago, and there's both teams very, very focused and looking forward to the occasion, I think.
There's an autumnal feel to today's weather, the conditions. We've had heavy showers, and now we have weak winter sunshine, or autumnal sunshine you would call it. How will that affect today's game?
Well, I suppose a bit of talk around the county this week is that Ederney need a dry day, and there's been a lot of talk about the Ederney forward line as well. It's been blustery showers, as you say, throughout the morning, and the pitch will be quite greasy as well. I think that the Ederney style of play is more running the ball, whereas Derrygonnelly can kick it further as well, or kick it long. So probably the neutral would say that maybe the day will suit Derrygonnelly that bit better, but conditions are changing all the time.
And people have also said that it's Ederney who need the strong start in this game. There will be a breeze, so it'll be interesting. The toss will be interesting as well here.
Yeah, and I think that they do need a strong start. It'll just settle players in, and it'll be something that Derrygonnelly will be watching about as well. I think in the championship to date, Ederney have scored 6 goals in their 2 games. Derrygonnelly haven't conceded one, and it's something I think the Derrygonnelly panel and management will be conscious of, just keeping tight tabs in the initial 5 or 10 minutes so that these Ederney players don't get their tails up.
We have viewers and listeners from all over the world watching us this afternoon, and a lot of them partisan, I'm sure, focusing on the likes of Derrygonnelly and Ederney. What are the jewels that they need to look out for here this afternoon?
Well, again,
Brian?
all week the talk around the county has been how will the Derrygonnelly defence manage these Ederney forwards, and there's a number of new forwards who we'll talk about, how we've given a different dimension to this Ederney attack. I suppose I'd look at it a slightly different way. How will the Ederney forwards manage this Derrygonnelly defence? Because it's a bit like the immovable object and the irresistible force meeting today. There's been a huge amount of talk, as I mentioned. The Ederney forwards have scored 6 goals in their 2 championship games to date. The Derrygonnelly defence haven't conceded one. So I think the key battles in the forward line will be something worth mouth-watering, really, something to look forward to. Middle of the field is always going to be a fantastic battle here. You've got the Ryan Jones and Marty McGrath. I expect to play out there for a part of the game anyway. It'll be interesting to see how those 2 players get on with each other as well. So there are mouth-watering battles all over the pitch. But I think for the neutrals, and the talk all week in the county has certainly been the Ederney forward line and the Derrygonnelly defence and those matchups there and what's going to happen there.
And a lot of people have spoke during the week, and you have alluded to it there as well, about that tussle in the middle of the field between 2 great stalwarts, one coming to the end of his career, Marty McGrath, and the other, I suppose, at the peak of his power, Ryan Jones. Do you expect them to pick up each other?
I'm not sure. In the league game, I know that Ryan Jones picked up Conor Mcgee, and this was in the game in Ederney, and Conor Mcgee caused a lot of problems to the Derrygonnelly team on that occasion. And I think that's something maybe that the Ederney management team will try and pair off as well if they can. And I know the Derrygonnelly management have been discussing that issue this week in terms of Conor Mcgee. He's a great engine. He was involved in the county panel this year, got good experience as well. So he will certainly have a major part to play in this game. So it'll just be interesting to see what happens there.
And the other person, I suppose, that a lot of people are talking about as well is the full forward line that Ederney have, Paul McCusker, Mark Mccauley and young Cassidy, they will cause the Derrygonnelly rearguard some form of trouble, one expects, because in that league game that you've alluded to, they caused them quite a lot of difficulties.
They were, and I think they were maybe 6 points up at one stage in that game, and Derrygonnelly ended up winning the game by a point. Paul McCusker's got 2-4 in the championship to date so far. You know, a very, very intelligent player, huge work rate as well, but he's ably supported by a number of others in that forward, and I think that's the key thing. Derrygonnelly will have not met a 6 forwards who have the talent that this group have today, but can they step up to the plate? I think that's the question that everybody's asking. A number of them are quite young. We've got Mark Mccauley, Ryan Morris, Sean Cassidy, 3 players that a lot of talk about, and they've all contributed heavily in terms of the scoring rates this year for Ederney. So, but can they deliver on the big days? Because that's the question that everybody's looking forward to seeing.
Well, I see Pádraig McGovern is in the studio, and he has team news for us, so maybe this is a good time to take an advertisement break, because we'll be able to come back and confirm both teams immediately after this advertisement break. So don't go away. We'll be bringing you full, uninterrupted and live coverage of the Quinn Building Products Senior Championship Final, which is now about 12 minutes from throw-in. Welcome back here to Brewster Park and to Fermanagh GA TV's coverage of the Quinn Building Products Senior Championship Final. We've just got confirmation from the County PRO, Pádraig McGovern, that both teams will line out as they are in our programme. So that will please the commentary team later on, I have to say. No changes. So first and foremost, Brian, we have an opportunity here to have a look at the Derrygonnelly senior team, and as it comes up on our screen, we look at it and we see that Jack Kelly is in goals. Well, that's a strange thing for Derrygonnelly to have somebody in goals apart from Dermot Feely, who's been an ever-present since 1995. A big day then for Jack.
It is a big day for Jack. Now again, Jack has minor and under 21 experience with counties. He's a big, tall goalkeeper, huge presence around the middle of the field, around on the edge of the square, which is something that I think has been useful for Derrygonnelly this year. Long kick out as well. I know Liam Swift, goalkeeping coach, has been working closely with Jack this year and has certainly improved his game as well. It's a big day for him, as you say, but he's well capable of producing a very good performance.
And you look then at the 6 defenders, and the one thing thing that strikes me here is the age profile of these defenders. The youngest is Tiernan Daly, and then you're looking at two cornerbacks of Michael Jones and Eamon McHugh, both 29 years of age, and the half-back line then in their mid-30s, Neil Goller, 34, Declan Cassidy wearing 6, he's 34, and Gavin McGinley, he's 33 years of age. So a very experienced a a defensive unit, I should say.
It is a very experienced defensive unit, and battle hardened as well. You know, that group of 6 have gone through numerous tough games together in championships, and you look at the full back line on its own. Again, all of them with a lot of inter-county experience. Tiernan Daly has played full back for the county on numerous occasions. Mickey Jones, obviously a standout defender for the county for the last number of years. Eamon McHugh, who did very well in Fermanagh games this year, you know, and then they're ably assisted in centre half back Declan Cassidy. I think he's a pivotal player.
He's been incredible.
He absolutely is. You know, a pivotal player for Derrygonnelly for numerous years, and I expect him potentially maybe to drop back as a sweeper today, just to cover off those dangerous Ederney forwards as we talked about.
And then looking at the midfield sector, a young man that's grown into club football is Stephen McGowan, and of course he's partnered in the midfield sector there with Ryan Jones, the captain of the side, who is the driving force, I suppose, behind this team.
I think the key word you hit there, Ger, was drive, you know, and he just, his bursts from the middle of the field caused Devonish significant problems in the semi-final, and he's been doing that obviously all his career, you know, ably willing to drive forward and very, very hard to stop when he gets on the ball and is running through. And sometimes they're going to leave that middle section open for him to make those runs, and he causes major problems to teams. Probably an area he needs to develop in his game is the defensive side, and that's where Conor McGee, I know, got a bit of joy from him in the league game, and maybe that might happen again today. And
then looking into the forward division, a more youthful forward division, has to be said. Lee Jones will line out at number 10, Gavin Jones, 22 years of age, the youngest of the three Joneses brothers. He'll wear number 11, and Shane McGullion, who will wear the number 12 jersey. While then the full forward line, Paul Ward, who's been a stalwart for this Derrygonnelly Harps team over the years, 34 years of age. Colin Jones, 26 at 14, and their top scorer in the championship. And then Gary McKenna, who's very reliable from frees. Some people might say that there's not that out and out marquee forward in that unit. Is that fair?
I think that's probably fair as well, and it's borne out in the statistics as well. I mean, Conor Jones top scorer with 1-5 in this year's championship. Derrygonnelly probably changed their style. Paul Ward, now obviously in the twilight of his career, has been a marvellous servant to the club. In the semi-final he played in the half forward line. He's got 1 point in the championship so far, so for him, you know, that's not a great return in terms of what we expect of him. Gavin Jones, the other probably key forward there, who has scored 7 points. As you say, Gary McKenna 6 points, but certainly the 6 forwards wouldn't be perceived to be as threatening maybe as the Ederney front 6, you know, but Derrygonnelly are getting more scores from further back the field, from Ryan Jones in the middle of the field, and from the half back line as well.
And before I leave the Derrygonnelly side, there's one man I'm going to mention in the substitutes, and that's the evergreen Kevin Keys Cassidy, 43 years of age, has played in every game in the championship, and just is an amazing player.
A fantastic player, you know, and a fantastic football brain. I think that's what people enjoy watching Kevin Cassidy for. You know, he's able to find space, pick the right pass, he's composed on the ball, and you know, his experience will be probably invaluable today if he does come into the game, especially later on, you know, where he can pick passes, as I say. But it's just his football brain has been phenomenal, you know, and his ability to see things on the field that other players can't, and that has enabled him to probably extend his career to this stage.
Yeah, been a terrific servant, it has to be said, to Derrygonnelly Harps over the years. Now we can take a closer look at the Ederney St Jospehs side, and I suppose a man who's played a lot of football outfield over the years. Enda Ferris, plagued with injuries, he's now their regular goalkeeper.
Yeah, and the county goalkeeper of the past, Chris Snow, slots in a full back, so it's a strange sort of conundrum there. But Enda Ferris, as you say, you know, was a great forward in his day. I suppose he was tried out in goals initially because of the kickouts.
Yeah,
he was a good striker of the ball, you know, and again, that's a pivotal part of the game today in modern day football. So it'll be interesting to see how he manages that. But he's been in goals for a few years now, vastly experienced as well, and that's something you want in that back line, certainly on county final.
And
day.
I believe that Rory Goller has called him into his provisional squad.
Right, and you know, he's probably well worth the try in there, I have to say, because of his place kicking, you know, is absolutely superb.
And the man you talked about there a few moments ago, a man who's been synonymous with Fermanagh GA's success as a goalkeeper over the last number of years, and a man that you would know very well, Chris Snow, slotting in at full back, scored a point, 29 years of age, played in the championship final back in 2006 when they were last involved in it. So he's at the full back line. Manus Maguire 28 and Michael Maguire 21 is the full back line. Then the half back line of Aaron Dennison, Johnny Irvine at 34 years of age, and Finbar Gillen. A nice sprinkling of youth and experience in that half back line, or that back line.
There is, and Johnny Irvine, as you say, has a vast amount of experience, will hold the central position. Finbar Gillen potentially maybe pick up Paul Ward. There's a bit of talk about that during the week. Maybe if that happens or not, I'm not quite sure. But again, a very tenacious defender as well, and somebody that Ederney would be looking to have a big game from today. And
now as the two teams line up behind the St Michael's Scout Band and do their familiar pre-match parade, we'll take a look at the midfield sector of Martin McGrath and Conor McGee. Well, that surely is experience and youth together, a 37-year-old and a 20-year-old. Yeah, and potentially a fantastic combination. You've got Marty McGrath there again. He's probably in the twilight of his career at this stage. Brilliant servant to both Fermanagh and Ederney over many, many years. A fantastic talent, physically very, very strong as well. And then you've got the engine of Conor McGee and the youthful, vibrancy of him alongside. So I think it's a great combination, and it'd be interesting to see how they manage with Ryan Jones and Stephen Mccauley today. And as you've alluded to earlier in our discussions, the forward line is much vaunted attack of Ederney's has Stephen McElrowan wearing 10, Decky McCusker at 11, Ryan Morris at 12, then Sean Cassidy, only 18 years of age, wearing 13. Paul McCusker, the evergreen Paul McCusker, will wear 14. He has scored 2-4 in the championship to date. And then Mark Mccauley, who's just 22 years of age, he will wear 15. We're expecting a lot from that forward unit today. We are, and in the quarter-final they hit 3-15 against Balcoo. In the semi-final they hit 3-13 against Balik, so they're racking up big scores. They've got goals in them as well. Paul McCusker, as you mentioned, absolutely pivotal. Not only has he got talent, but his work rate is phenomenal as well, and he's ably assisted, as you say, by Mark Mccauley, Ryan Morris, Declan McCusker in the half forward, and again, who's a great engine as well. So as we mentioned at the start of the programme, it's the Derrygonnelly defence against the Ederney attack has been something that everybody in the county has been talking about this week, and we're about to find out what's going to happen. And now I'm going to put you on the spot, and I'm going to ask you to call it in a few words before we go to our next advertisement break. Again, Ger, it's a really, really difficult game to call this. I've been pondering this all week, and it changes from moment to moment, but I'd have to say, given the day, the conditions that are here, the experience that Derrygonnelly have, I think Derrygonnelly might just pip it by a couple of points. Derrygonnelly by a couple of points. Well, don't leave us, because as I said earlier, the two sides are currently marching behind the St Michael's Scout Band. We're getting ready for the action here in Brewster Park. We're going to take a quick advert break, and we'll be back with all the action live and uninterrupted here on Fermanagh GA TV. To Brewster Park, a wonderful spectacle down in front of us. The St Michael's Scout Band have concluded their parade, and now the national anthem, Around the Vein, will be sung by Nicola Timoney from the Balcoo O'Rahilly's Club, and she will be assisted, as I say, by the St Michael's Scout Band. A wonderful rendition of Aron Levine from Nick Timley from the Balcoo O'Reilly's club. As she makes her way off the pitch, so do the substitutes for both Derrygonnelly Harps and Ederney St Jospehs, and so do the St Michael's Scout Band. They all clear the field, and it'll be left to 15 men from Ederney and 15 men from Derrygonnelly and 1 man from the Newton Butler Club. That's James Lewis. He's the man in the middle this afternoon. The standby referee is Martin Higgins. The linesman is Oliver McShea. And the sideline official is Shane Connolly from the Enniskillen Gales Club. The umpires today are Colin McManus, Seamus Lewis and Jonathan McManus and Frankie Freehill. So we're all set, and one person or two people that we haven't spoke about, Brian, before the ball is thrown in, is the manager, Sean Flanagan, back on the sideline, and so too is Michael Cassidy back on the sideline.
Yeah, and two very, very experienced individuals as well. Sean, of course, who was pivotal to the breakthrough year of 1995 when Derrygonnelly won their first title. Michael Cassidy was actually managed Ederney the last time they got to the championship final in 2006 when they were beaten by Enniskillen Gales. And Sean Flanagan and Derrygonnelly, ably assisted by Brenton Rasdale as well, who knows players in this county from top to bottom. So it'll be interesting to see how they manage with today as well.
Well, a little bit of nonsense there between, that'll be an interesting pairing, John Irvine and Declan Cassidy. If that pairing stays the way it is, there's already a little bit of niggle down there, so it'll be interesting to see. Or is it Gavin Jones is in the middle of the field, I see, along with Stephen McGullion. Ryan Jones has gone centre half forward, so a lot of interesting movements around the pitch at this juncture. Marty McGrath in the middle of the field. The ball breaks, however, favourably for the Derrygonnelly member. The immediate turnover, and the ball is won by Marty McGrath. Gets the ball over the far side of the field. Back it comes inside here now towards Malice Maguire, wearing number 2 on his back. Ederney come forward and looking for the first score. It's in the shape of Conor McGee. A tug on the jersey. The referee says play can continue. He tried to apply the advantage, but McGee, the tug was on the jersey. Lewis was right up the play, spotted that infringement, and awards the free to the Ederney men. And coming out to take this kick is Mark Mccauley. He scored 1-5 in this Quinn Building Products Senior Championship campaign to date. This is a difficult kick. It'll suit, however, the left-footed kicker that Mccauley is. As I say, he's kicked 1-5 in the championship to date. It looks good. That's a super effort from Mark Mccauley. Well, for a 22-year-old man, he showed no nerves or no inexperience as he popped that one over the bar, Brian.
Yeah, great score from Mark Mccauley. It'll certainly settle him down into this game. And I just noticed as well, Paul McCusker and Marty McGrath already getting their hands on the ball and settling down this team. But a great start by Ederney.
Well, that's the first score, and a very important one it is for the Ederney corner forward, Mark Mccauley, as the kick out is taken there by Jack Kelly, and Derrygonnelly in possession of the ball, but goes to ground. The ground slightly slippy over there, and it's Gary McKenna does well to retain possession, gives it back to Neil Goller. Goller drops it on the first occasion. Plenty of cluster tackling round there on Gallagher. Ederney turn this ball over. Excellent play. Hungry for the ball early in this game. And it's Paul McCusker back foraging deep in his own defensive area that picks that ball up. He's fouling. The referee awards the free. It's taken quickly, and Johnny Irvine has it for the Ederney man. Gives it to his full back. That's Chris Snow. Snow lays it off there to Maguire. Maguire to Snow. Snow back it goes again. Every player trying to get a touch on the ball in these opening couple of minutes of this senior championship final. Marty McGrath now spreads the play this near side of the field. It's with Finbar Gillen, the 28-year-old. Gillen takes his eye off the ball. Paul Ward nearly came in and swooped it off him, but the ball is given away, and there's a turnover there, and Paul Ward goes to ground. Look for the free. The referee didn't buy that, and Ederney are turned over now. Hard tackle there, it has to be said, by Finbar Gillen on Ryan Jones, but plenty of turnovers, plenty of excitement in these opening couple of minutes, and the referee James Lewis decides that the Derrygonnelly players didn't come back, though a lot of 10 metres, and he brings the ball forward. Another chance for Mccauley, but this is a feisty opening. It has a feisty opening. It's something probably you expected as well. Finbar Gillen showing the intentions of the Ederney players there right from the off. Well, Mccauley lines up this kick. He's 45 metres out. He kicked one a few moments ago with the left foot. He's on its way again, and Mccauley's eye is certainly in, because that's a super score from Mark Mccauley. two opportunities to kick points, and both of them over. Excellent scores, Brian.
Two great scores. You know, he's wind assisted, I have to say, in this first half, but Ederney have got off to a great start. And Finbar Gillen, as we mentioned, is picking up Paul Ward in the inside line for Derrygonnelly, and he also has got off to a very good start. And certainly all the players in the Ederney team have nearly got their hands on the ball at this stage, and they'll be very, very happy with the way this game has started.
Yeah, they look composed.
Very composed, and ably assisted, as I say, by Marty McGrath and Paul McCusker in the middle of the field. We're dictating things there, and that has helped the younger players to grow into the game. But there's no doubt that Mccauley's two strikes, you know, have settled him and the Ederney team.
Well, we're looking at we can catch our breaths now, Brian, because there's one of the Derrygonnelly players down receiving some attention. But just the conditions again are starting to cloud in a little. The breeze seems to be swirling. You look at the flags down below where the national flag is, and it seems to be favouring Ederney. But then you look here pitch side, and they're blowing the other way. So it's a swirling breeze. I think we're operating with.
Breeze, but certainly Mccauley used it to his advantage in those first two kicks. You know.
Well, there's a line ball over on the far side of the field, and Ederney they decide to go back and give it into the safe hands of Chris Snow. Snow gets it over there to Michael Maguire. Maguire lays it off to Aaron Dennison. Dennison decides to kick it long. An excellent ball from Aaron Dennison, and well held on that occasion, but not a good ball by Dennison down there looking for Sean Castey, and Derrygonnelly forced the turnover. And they retain possession here now in the shape of Gary McKenna, but again he's robbed, and this young man Sean Castey went in there quickly, won the ball, got it out to Stephen McElroan. McElroan lays it off now, but very slippy conditions there, and the ball spins off the toes of Sean Castey and into the welcome hands of the Derrygonnelly goalkeeper, and that is Jack Kelly, the 21-year-old, playing in his first championship final. Remember, Derrygonnelly, the holders of the New York Cup, they have won it on the last three occasions. They're looking to do 4 in the row as the ball is in the hands of their captain Ryan Jones. The first purposeful run from Jones, still striding out as Ryan Jones gets it there towards Paul Ward. Ward twists and turns, looks up, surveys his options, has to come out. Did he overcarry? Referee says no, plays the advantage, still Ward on the right foot. That's a super score from Paul Ward. He made his own space there, and he created the opportunity for himself. It looked as if he was in a tricky corner, but he used his pace and his experience to get out of that tricky corner and got the ball away and over the bar it went. Fine score from Paul Ward.
Great score by Paul Ward, and you know, the battle between him and Finbar Gillen in the first 5 minutes of this game has been fantastic to watch, I have to say. But Derrygonnelly retreating very, very deep now in the first 5 or 10 minutes. There was talk before the game that they were going to try and nullify these Ederney forwards, especially in the first 10 or 15 minutes of the game, by sitting back, and they've certainly started that way.
The referee elects to throw the ball up because he decided that the goalkeeper, Enda Ferris, kicked the ball out before everybody had left the 20-metre line area, so threw the ball up, but eventually it comes back. The ball comes back into Ederney's possession in the shape of Chris Snow. Gets it over there to Marty McGrath. McGrath, 37 years of age, gives it forward to Decky McCusker. McCusker closed down there by 1, 2, 3 Derrygonnelly players, and turnover executed there by Colin Jones. Jones elects to go for a shot. He had players around him looking for the ball. Paul Ward lets him know that in no uncertain terms that he was expecting to get that ball from Colin Jones. Jones elected to go for the shot, but went straight in the hands of Enda Ferris, and now Ederney can build again. You're listening and watching Fermanagh GA TV, bringing you the Quinn Building Products Senior Championship Final here in Brewster Park. And we thank our sponsors today, McHugh Fuels, J&M Windows, Mohun Memorials, and the Enniskillen Carpet Centres. The ball is fed in and picked up there on that occasion by Cassidy. Cassidy needs support, got it there from Mccauley, but another turnover, and it's Decky Castey on that occasion comes out with the ball, gets it to Gary McKenna. McKenna back over to Castey over the far side of the field. Now Castey cuts inside, lays it off there to the on-running Neil Gallagher. Gallagher, 34 years of age, gives it back inside. The ball now in the hands of Gavin Jones. Jones, 45 metres out, lays it back there towards Stephen McGullion. McGullion surveys his options, a little bit of space for McGullion, slips it inside there to his midfield partner, that's Ryan Jones. Jones gets a shot away, the tackle went in a little bit later, and the referee said there was nothing wrong with the tackle, and the ball goes to the left hand side and goes wide. First wide of the game for Derrygonnelly, and the first wide for Ryan Jones.
Yes, and I have to say that just prior to that, Colin Jones probably took the wrong option. He was kicking from 45, 50 metres out, like against the wind, as we said. Derrygonnelly are sitting very, very deep. We talked about their full forward line aren't really tackling until they get to the Ederney get to the 45, and it's leaving things very congested. And there's been a number of turnovers, as you've said, Ger, so far in the game.
Well, the conditions may be lending itself to turnovers as well. Swirling breeze, wet ground. Heavy shower before the game. The ball won on that occasion there by Paul McCusker. Does well. Gets it back there to Johnny Irvine now in possession, midfield area. Coming forward with it, Irvine, 34 years of age, played of course in 2006, as did 8 of the players out here today playing from Ederney, so there's longevity and there's experience in this Ederney team, and one of them is Marty McGrath, and McGrath gets the shot out of the way, and what a wonderful score from the Marty McGrath, 37 years of age. As soon as he hit it, he knew the ball was floating over the bar. That's a super score, and that pushes Ederney into a 3-1 lead, and that will give him and his team great confidence.
Absolutely. We talked before the game about the midfield battle, and both Marty McGrath and Ryan Jones have already got scores to start off the game, but it was Conor McGee and Marty McGrath there that engineered that score, and another great one for Ederney.
A foul there on Decky Cassidy, and the referee says to bring the ball forward. Cassidy takes the free. The ever willing Neil Gallagher links up with him, takes possession of the football, gets it back inside there now towards Lee Jones. Lee Jones in possession, crosses the 45-metre line. Ederney getting plenty of players behind the ball, but Jones spots a little bit of space, goes forward, lays it off there, and the free on that occasion, because it was Ryan Jones, I think it was tugged to the ground, and the referee awards the free in to the men from Derrygonnelly, and an opportunity for them to narrow the score.
Yeah, and a high tackle there on Ryan Jones, and again we talked before the game about when Ryan Jones gets going, he's very, very hard to stop, and already he's had a couple of runs and foraging into the Ederney defence. It's something that the Ederney players are going to have to be mindful of.
And is it Garvin that's lining up this kick, Brian?
Yeah, I think it's Gavin Jones.
Gavin Jones, he's 22 years of age. He scored 7 points in the championship to date. This should be a simple enough one for Garvin, and he gets the shot away, and goes over the bar, so that reduces the gap to just 1 point between the sides. Garvin Jones there with that score for Derrygonnelly. We look at the watch and it says we've played 10 minutes in this game. 1 point between the sides, and Derrygonnelly in possession. Ball laid off to Paul Ward. Heavy challenge on Ward. Referee allows play to continue. Ward gets the shot away. Has it gone over the bar? No, it's gone to the right hand side and gone wide, and Paul will be disappointed with that, as you've alluded to earlier when we were speaking. Brian just kicked 1 point in the championship to date, which is a bit of a surprise for somebody that has been as prolific as Paul Ward has been.
Yeah, as we say, he's probably in the twilight of his career now, and this year he's played a little bit deeper for Derrygonnelly. Obviously he's got a good score so far to start the day, and he's been on the ball a few times as well, and the battle, as is mentioned, between him and Finbar Gillen is very, very interesting to watch.
Well, this production here today is going out across the world. We've been informed that we have viewers in countries such as the Netherlands, Bulgaria, Sweden, South Africa, New Zealand, Hong Kong, Portugal, Spain, Canada, Estonia, Turkey, Australia, the USA, Britain, and of course all over Ireland. So wherever you're watching this production, we hope you're enjoying it as much as we are here in Brewster Park. The Quinn Building Products Senior Championship Final of 2018. The scoreboard reads: Ederney 3 points, Derrygonnelly 2 points. Derrygonnelly, the holders, going for 4 in a row. They're in possession of the football. A high challenge there on Tiernan Daly, but on that occasion, I suppose it has to be said, it was accidental, because Tiernan was slipping as he went into the challenge with Gavin McCovern, but the referee's reading that somewhat differently.
He is. I think he's going to take action here, Ger. Now, as you say, the conditions are quite slippy. There's been a number of showers here before the game, which has left the pitch quite greasy, and Tiernan sort of fell into that one, I suppose, but the referee has, I think, given a yellow card in this occasion. A yellow
card for Gavin McCovern, and well, look at James Lewis is a lot closer to the action than we are, but it looked from where I was that Tiernan slipped and caught the forearm of Gavin McCovern, so thankfully Tiernan is able to resume and get on with the game, because that man has had a career that's been riddled by injuries, and none much so than last year, when of course he didn't play any or have any involvement in the Derrygonnelly run to their championship final victory over Devonish last year. But good to see him back in the purple and gold as Derrygonnelly get the shot away. It took a slight bounce, and that one's gone over the bar, and well, that was from a speculative effort that took a deflection and went over the bar.
Yeah, I think Gavin Jones took that shot, and again, as you say, it got a deflection of a half block by somebody in the Ederney defence. It bounced in the edge of the square and bounced over the bar, and the last 2 kick-outs Enda Ferris has misplaced, and Derrygonnelly are putting the squeeze on the Ederney kick-outs at the stage.
And it has to be said that and the Ferrers will be disappointed that he didn't attack that ball, because it bounced in front of him and the bounce took the ball over the bar. So Ferris, he's experienced enough, he'll clear his head and he'll get on with the game, but it's 3 points apiece at the moment. And Ederney come forward. Ball is won on that occasion by the cornerback, that's Michael Maguire. He gives it to Marty McGrath. McGrath looks up and, well, I'm not sure what James Lewis is indicating here. Oh, he wants the ball to be taken, or the free to be taken from a different position. Yeah, the referee now working with Ollie McShea and advising where this free has to be taken from, and it's Finbar Gillen who will take the free. Finbar takes it down towards Decky McCusker, picked up a yellow card a few moments ago. That ball comes off the hand of Gavin McGinley, and McGinley, the linesman indicates where the line ball has to be taken from, and Decky McCusker wants to take it quickly, does so, gets it into his brother Paul, lays it back. Not a good ball on that occasion, and ball given away, and Derrygonnelly starting to grow into this game, it has to be said, but the ball given away. Another unforced turnover as Decky McCusker comes forward for Ederney, slips a small short ball down there to Ryan Morris. Morris, good ball into space, looking there for the wing half back Aaron Dennison. Dennison strides forward and Dennison pops that ball over the bar. And the interesting feature of this game is that Ederney have had 4 shots in this game, and all 4 of them have went over the bar. They've yet to register a wide, and we played 15 minutes in this first half, Brian.
And that's what we've talked about coming into the game as well. The Ederney attack and their movement off the ball has been very, very good. They needed that score there, Ger, because as you say, Derrygonnelly are beginning to put their authority on the game, and we're winning balls and turnovers as well, and Ederney certainly needed that score at that time. Again, another slip by a player there, and just an accidental collision at this stage. Yeah,
it was Stephen McElroan and Colin Jones who were involved in that one. So referee consulting his linesman. It'll be interesting to see what he decides to do, if he decides to take any action on this occasion. I don't think he is. As I said, a lot of people watching this game from all over the world and in different parts of Ireland, and in Fermanagh as well. As that kick is taken there, looking for Neil Gallagher. Was Gallagher fouled? Yes, the referee says he was, and one of the men that is watching this game that we know at his home, his brother is Liam Maguire, and his brother Claude was the captain of the Ederney team that won the title in 1968. So Liam, who has been in hospital for a number of weeks, and he celebrated his 87th birthday while in hospital, he's watching online today, and we wish Liam well and hope that he has a speedy recovery and that he enjoys today's coverage on Fermanagh GA TV. As this kick is lined up now by Gavin Jones. Jones gets it in, and that's a terrific effort from Gavin Jones. That's a sensational effort, because there is a very, very difficult breeze swirling around here in Brewster Park, but he was very close to the sideline and popped that one over with some style. Super score.
Great score by Gavin Jones, and probably a feature of the game so far with what 16 minutes gone has been the place kicking by both sides. You know, Mark Mccauley has kicked 2 scores, which quite difficult at the beginning of the game, and then a great score there by Gavin Jones.
And that brings Jones's tally in this game to 3 points. He's had 2 from frees, 1 from play, so he'll be very, very pleased with his contribution in these opening 17 minutes of the game. Sides lock level at 4 points apiece. This game is flying by. We've played the first quarter, and Derrygonnelly starting to gain a foothold, I believe, in this game, winning more possession, utilising the ball a lot better, and probing at this Ederney defence. And they're in possession at the moment through their captain Ryan Jones, far side of the field. Neil Gallagher has got his hands on an awful lot of ball in this game. Great outlet coming forward from the half back line. Good ball inside to Jones. Jones coming in and goes. There's an opportunity for Jones to carry it too long. Referee says no, it's blocked on the line. And now what is the referee awarded? Well, the flag has gone up. Has it gone over the line? The umpire looks as if he has put up the green flag, and drama upon drama, but it looks as if the goal has been awarded, and it's Ryan Jones who's the scorer of the goal for Derrygonnelly. Brian, your take on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about Ryan Jones' driving runs from the middle of the field before the game, and he did it again there. And there's been a few warning signs for Ederney before the match. He slipped the 1-2, got inside, lost his marker, and kicked the ball to the, well, it didn't go to the back of the net. One of the defenders cleared the ball, but it was behind the line. Umpire gave it. Goal for Derrygonnelly.
Well, that's a very, very important score. I did say that they were becoming more dominant in the game, and that dominance has been rewarded by that goal. And here they come again with Mckean. Can they get another score from Mckean? That looks good. It's on its way. The umpire goes for the flag. The umpire puts up his white flag, and now Derrygonnelly have snuck into 4-point lead. It's a double scores game, and that score was well taken by Gary Mccauley. The kick out was won by Jones to Mckean over the bar.
Yeah, and they're beginning to really struggle on the kick outs now. So they are, the last couple of balls have gone to the middle of the field that Derrygonnelly have won the breaks or turned over an Ederney man. If he has got his hands on the ball, it's important now Ederney settle down. The old hands of McCusker and McGrath and Finbar Gillen, John Irvine need to step up here, because Derrygonnelly are certainly putting the squeeze on.
They certainly are, and there's an injury now to one of the Ederney players, and that might just be a tactical move. It might just be to try and take the zest out of this Derrygonnelly team at this moment.
Yeah, and I noticed Conor McGee there. Derrygonnelly are very, very physically very big in the middle of the field. The two Joneses, Gavin Jones has moved out to the middle of the field now, and Ryan Jones on the other side, and that's given them a platform to win ball in the air and launch their attacks from midfield.
This time Ferris elects to go short, gets it out there towards Finbar Gillen. Gillen involved in this attack, gets it to Marty McGrath. McGrath comes forward with it. McGrath fists it there towards the Mark Mccauley. Mccauley gets a shot away, but see, that's the inexperience that Ederney have, and I suppose noting that they need a score in this game pretty soon, went for a very speculative effort and went wide.
Yeah, and he had two good scores from frees at the start of the game, but he was slipping there as he was taking that shot really, and probably should have elected to lay the ball off to one of his support runners coming through.
Jack Kelly with the kick out. Out it goes in the middle of the field. Up the go for the ball breaks. Well, there's judged to be a foul there. Conor McGee won the ball, but the referee, well, he's changed his mind now. He pointed that the free was for Derrygonnelly. He has now decided it's going the other way, and there's a substitution going to be made on the Ederney team down below us. We see Michael Mcaleer coming into the field of play, and he will replace Manus Maguire. So Manus Maguire coming off, and he's replaced by Michael Mcaleer wearing number 18. Your thoughts on that change?
Well, Michael Mcaleer is known as a forward, and has been certainly a half back. Maybe would be where he would play some of his football as well. But he's a very talented player. Again, represented the county at underage level. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on today. Well,
we'll just see what position he picked up in a moment or so when the game settles down again, as Chris Snow comes forward from his full back position, slips there on the greasy turf and lays the ball back there towards Ryan Morris. Morris looked as if he'd been fouled. Hard tackling, cluster tackling from Derrygonnelly, but fair tackling, it has to be said. And on this occasion, the foot went in on Chris Snow, and the referee awards the free for Ederney. And this is an opportunity that Chris Snow will probably line up, and really Ederney need a score now. When you look at the way the scores came, they started the game very brightly, went into a 3-1 lead. 2 points from Gavin Jones, narrowed that, or left the sides level after 11 minutes, and then Aaron Dennison with a point in the 15th minute left it 4 points to 3. But since then, Derrygonnelly have rattled off 1 goal and 2 points through Gavin Jones with his third point, Ryan Jones, and that the goal from Ryan Jones and Gary McKenna with the point, leave it 1-5-4 as that free floats in round the square. It hasn't gone out, as well picked up on that occasion. Back it goes there towards Ryan Morris. Morris' shot is blocked down, and going in and winning the ball there on that occasion is Gavin Jones, but the foot went in, I think, possibly. What has the referee awarded on this occasion? Well, there's a little bit of afterness and afters and a little bit of nastiness, which, well, the game had been playing in a very sporting way up to this.
It had, Ger, but there's a lot of physicality in this Derrygonnelly team, and they're putting their markers down early, I think, as well. A few off the ball incidents happening here and there, and obviously a lot of talk before the game have been with the space and the movement of this Ederney forward, and something Derrygonnelly have focused in on certainly in the first 20 minutes of this game is closing off that space, getting tight to their markers, and their cluster tackling has been very, very good, and they're physically a strong team, and they're certainly making a count. The other thing I noticed is there is one player inside the Derrygonnelly attacking half of the field. Whenever Ederney are attacking, they get everybody back, bar Paul Ward. They're isolating him just up there and trying to close off space for this Ederney attack.
Well, a man that's been involved in everything in this game so far. He's kicked 3 points and now he's picked up a yellow card. That's Gavin Jones for his indiscretion there, which has resulted in this kick for Mark Mccauley. Mccauley, this is a crucial kick for Mccauley. Sends it on his way. Is it curling? Is it curling? Is it dropping? It certainly is. And Mark Mccauley, well, he's been flawless. He's had 3 kicks from frees and 3 of them have sailed over the bar. A goal between the teams, Brian.
Yeah, and a great strike again from Mccauley. You know, that's his 3rd strike, as you say, from this side of the field, and he just does it with so much ease, you know, and seemed to be very comfortable. And he needed that score probably because prior to that just selected the shot, which maybe he shouldn't have taken, and Ederney needed that score as well. Be interesting to see how this ball goes now around the middle of the field.
Well, one man that's not with us here today, he's out in Spain on holidays, and that's the King of Brad. That's Martin Brennan, him and his wife out there in Spain watching this game. He's also out there along with Eamon and Deirdre Green. We hope that Martin and Patricia and Eamon and Deirdre, all the technology's working for them out there, and that they're enjoying this first half of the Quinn Building Products Senior Championship Final, where Derrygonnelly are leading 1 goal and 5-5, and they're on the attack. The ball is in the hands of Mickey Jones, the experienced Mickey Jones, 29 years of age, lays it off there to the ever-willing Neil Gallagher. Many times have I said that in the first half. Gallagher comes forward, lays it off there towards Lee Jones, finds a man in space. That man in space is Gallagher. Can he be rewarded for all his efforts with a point? He can be rewarded with a point. And Neil Gallagher, at 34 years of age, he's had an excellent opening 24 minutes of this game, and that industry that he's brought to this game has been rewarded with that super score there. Over the bar it goes 1-6-5. What a player.
A great player, and he's having a great game. And I have to say, Ger, the goal as well came down that right hand side for Derrygonnelly, and they've cut maybe a goal, I think about 2 or 3 points have come down that side. It's something they're obviously targeting as well.
Well, and you've alluded to Ed Ferris and his kick-outs. He's trying everything, Brian, to keep it out of that midfield area, and he's trying to get it out wide. But on that occasion, again, it's gone out over the sideline, so it's a line ball. We'll get your comment in a moment as Ryan Jones takes the kick quickly, gets it back there to Eamon McHugh. We haven't mentioned McHugh in commentary to date. He's back resolute in defence. On this occasion, he decides to come forward, and Stephen Mcgullion has it. Mcgullion gets it back to Ryan Jones. Jones to Cassidy. Cassidy gives it over to the point scorer a few moments ago. That's Neil Gallagher. Gallagher took his eye of the ball slipped away from him, but he manages to retrieve the situation, gets it back to McHugh to Jones of the Ryan variety, I think it is, gives it outside there towards Paul Ward. In fact, it was Gavin Jones, but it's turnover for the Ederney men. Ball pumped forward, 1 against 1 inside there. Paul McCusker gathers the ball. Paul McCusker is taken down. Referee will award the free, but that was the first time that Ederney have seen a little bit of space in their forward line. They got the ball early to McCusker, and McCusker won it excellently and was taken down.
He did indeed, and that's what Ederney will be looking for, to isolate forwards up there and get the ball in early to them, and that's their game plan, and I think it certainly worked for them on that occasion. Prior to that, you mentioned Ederney Ferris's kickouts, and when you have Gavin Jones, Stephen Mcgullion and Ryan Jones strung across the middle of the field, it's very difficult for him to pick out a man to get his kickouts away.
Well, coming up now to take this free is Ryan Morris, and it's interesting that Chris Snow came forward and took the last kick that I suppose suited what you would say the right-footed player. Mark Mccauley is certainly the man for these kicks here on the right hand side of the pitch that suit the left-footed kicker, but Ryan Morris, 21 years of age, 1-5 in the championship to date. His side trail 1-6-5. Can he leave just a goal between the sides? He kicks it very tentatively and doesn't get the distance on it, and the ball is fielded there by Ryan Jones, and you could see it from the moment he kicked it that it was a very tentative effort.
Yeah, I have to say Ryan Jones is certainly playing very, very well in this game. He's involved in practically everything that the Derrygonnelly side, that's good about the Derrygonnelly side today, and he sets them off in another attack.
And here comes Lee Jones on the attack for Derrygonnelly. We look at the watch, it says we've played just over 26 minutes with just 4 minutes left in the half. Derrygonnelly will be happy. They lead by 4 points. They're in possession of the ball. It's in the hands of Gavin Jones, their top scorer in this half, with 3 points. The referee awards the free to Gavin Jones for a tug on his arm, and this will be another opportunity for Jones to notch another point before the half-time whistle for the Derrygonnelly men. And 9-5, Brian. If this goes over, it's double scores, 10-5, and things will be starting to ebb away a little from Ederney.
Yeah, and you're looking for some of that Ederney players maybe to step up to the plate at this stage. You know, Decky McCusker has been very quiet so far in the game. Paul McCusker won that last ball, but again, he could get more involved to try and help out the rest of his team.
Well, this is a big kick in the context of this game. Gavin Jones has hit 3 already, 2 from frees, 1 from play, kicks it left footed, likes it I think, umpire likes it, over the bar it goes. That's another super score from Gavin Jones, and that means that it's now double scores, 1-7 to Derrygonnelly, 5 points to Ederney, and you would feel, Brian, that Ederney will need the next score or two.
They absolutely do, and again, first has gone fairly short, and he's under pressure straight away from Derrygonnelly forwards who, they're not letting him get away the kickouts, and I think that's a major part of this game so far, that Ederney haven't been able to secure their own possession on a lot of the kickouts.
And should he be thinking about going direct to the middle of the field?
Well, the problem with that is then Derrygonnelly have strung up Ryan Jones, Gavin Jones and Stephen Mckean across the middle of the field, and 3 physically very, very imposing players, so we can't get the ball away there either.
Mccauley for Ederney tries to tread a ball down there, looking for Paul McCusker, but McCusker out in front does well, gets a shot away, hasn't got the accuracy. No is the answer. It's gone to the left hand side and gone wide. Second wide of the game for Ederney. So in terms of the quality of the game, Brian, it's been fairly good, not too many wides.
No, not too bad so far. It's been pretty enjoyable, I have to say. The rain has stayed away. It's blustery wind, as you say, and the pitch has been slightly greasy, which has led to a few players slipping. Initially there was a lot of turnovers. The game was sort of a bit fractured and very congested. Things have opened out a little bit now, but Derrygonnelly are certainly beginning to impose themselves.
Derrygonnelly imposing themselves on the scoreboard, definitely. It's 1-7 to 5 points, ball out in the middle of the field, and that's an example of the power that Derrygonnelly have in that sector. They got up, got their hands on the ball, it broke, and it was won by the evergreen Decky Cassidy, and he was fouled, and the free will go the way of Derrygonnelly, and because the Ederney players didn't retreat, it's brought forward another 10 metres or so, and now Ryan Jones elects to give it short, gives it back there to Gavin McGinley. McGinley coming forward, has support over on the far side of the field. Again, it's Neil Goller. Neil Goller on this occasion is turned over, and now there's an opportunity for Ederney to counter. We see the board going up down below us. There'll be 2 minutes of additional time to be played in this first half of this Quinn Building Products Senior Championship final. As that ball is floated into the Derrygonnelly square, up the go for it. Who's going to win it? On this occasion, the referee says there was a foul in there on Paul McCusker. Tiernan Daly's the man that's been penalised. Says there was a push. I thought both teams were up contesting that one fairly, but James Lewis decides different.
Maybe a slightly harsh call, though. Paul McCusker was sandwiched in between 2 Derrygonnelly players. This is a score that Ederney absolutely need. As you say, with 2 minutes to go of added time, we're heading into that now. James Lewis has brought the ball in, I think, as well, for a bit of descent, and that's happened to Derrygonnelly a couple of times so far in this half. So certainly it's a score that Ederney absolutely need. And
it's Mccauley. He'll try to match what Gavin Jones has done, and he does so, and no difficulties on that occasion. He brings his tally to 4, and more importantly, it means that he has reduced the gap to just 4 points as we enter injury time here in this first half. So it'll be Jack Kelly with the kick for the kick out for Derrygonnelly. Up the go for it. Well broken on that occasion, but Derrygonnelly winning the breaks again. And on that occasion it was Lee Jones, but the ball drops away from him. Down the go to contest, and a scramble and a tussle out there. It's eventually won by Decky McCusker. McCusker's been fairly quiet in this game so far. Now lays it off there to the full-back, Chris Snow. Snow looks at the post. Snow gets a shot away. Does he like it? Yes, indeed he likes it. There's clenched fists down below us, and that's a crucial score for Ederney, because it means that it brings it down to just 1 goal between the sides. Snow came forward from his full-back position and done exceptionally well. Steadied down, knocked it over the bar.
Great score by Chris Snow, and we talked about Decky McCusker a moment ago. He's been fairly quiet so far, but when he gets involved, things happen for Ederney, and he's certainly involved in that move. Set up Chris Snow, and a great score from right in the right here.
Well, a crucial score, I would suggest, two scores I would suggest as we approached half time. 2 points for Ederney from Mccauley and Snow means that there's just a goal between the sides. A lot of people thought this one would go down to the wire, and well, if the second half is anything like this first half, it looks as if it's going to be a close encounter. Jack Kelly in possession, takes a little bit of a risk, but does particularly well. Gets it out there now to Eamon McHugh. McHugh in possession for Derrygonnelly. The ball is now in the hands of Ryan Jones. Jones lays it off. Ball picked up on this occasion by Conal Jones. He's had a quiet opening 35 minutes of this game, and the referee, or 30 minutes I should say, and well, I believe we may be having some difficulties with our broadcast. We apologise for that. There will be a short break at half time as we attempt to resolve those issues. but we would advise you that after the break, maybe you refresh your screen, and we'll be back with full coverage of the second half. There's always a little bit of a technical glitch when we bring you games for the first time on Fermanagh GAA TV, but bear with us, we'll get matters resolved at half time, and we'll come back with excellent production in the second half. As we review the first half, it's Derrygonnelly 1-7, Ederney 7 points at half time. And Brian, your thoughts on that first half?
Well, I think it got off to a good start, which they needed to do. You know, they were probably less experienced in this Derrygonnelly outfit. They got 2 great scores from Mark Mccauley, which seemed to settle the team down. But then Derrygonnelly came more into the game. Their physicality began to tell. Their midfield trio of Stephen McGullion, Gavin Jones and Ryan Jones settled into the game. A great goal by Ryan Jones, and Gavin Jones has hit, I think, 4 points as well. Yeah. So those two have been absolutely influential. But as you said, Ger, the last 2 points from Ederney were absolutely crucial, just leaving a goal between the sides. And as we know, this Ederney team can score goals, or have done to date. So it'll be interesting to see, can they galvanise themselves now for the second half?
Well, we're really looking forward to bringing you live coverage of the second half here on Fermanagh GAA TV. But for now, we're going to take a break, and we're going to review some of the technical issues that we have, and hopefully we'll be back with you very, very shortly from Brewster Park. But at half time, it's Derrygonnelly 1-7, Ederney 7 points. Welcome back here to Brewster Park for this Fermanagh Senior Football Final. You're with us here on Fermanagh GAA TV, and we apologise for some of the technical issues that we encountered in the first half, but I believe that everything is up and running and sorted, and that you will thoroughly enjoy what has been an exciting game of football so far, and we're hoping for more in the second half. We're joined here now by the sports editor of the Impartial Reporter, that's Gareth Caldwell. Gareth, your take on that first half?
Ederney came out of the blocks, started well, showed no signs of nerves for a first final in 12 years. Got got early points on the board, which, you know, you'd have thought would have settled them, but listen, the Derrygonnelly team's an experienced team. They settled down, they got a grip in the middle third. They seemed to get a lot of space down this right hand side. They were getting overlaps and they got back on level terms, and then the goal arrived. And touch of fortune about it, I suppose, but they had worked the space well, worked the opening well. They just looked that wee bit better at the minute, and they got a double scores, and it was 2 crucial scores that Ederney have got there at the end of the half, just to keep them in touch now, and it's the goal separating the sides, and still all to play for there now in the second half, isn't it?
When you say they got to grips with the game, what exactly do you mean by that?
In the middle third, they began to control. Ryan Jones came out, like Gavin Jones has been influential. They started picking up the breaks. They made life difficult for Ederney. Ederney struggled to get quality ball into their forward line. You know, they have a lot of good forwards, but the ball they were putting in didn't really suit the player that they have. You know, there's a lot of high hanging ball coming in there, and where you look at that Ederney forward line, better ball, maybe ball dropped in front of them where they were running onto. And it's not has to do with the quality that Derrygonnelly's putting pressure on them out the pitch, and then the quality of the defence that they have. You know, there's a lot of quality and a lot of experience in that defence, and making life very difficult for them. But listen, there's only one kick of the ball between the sides at half time, so they're very much in touch now.
And as you spoke about there, the quality of the forward line that Ederney have, I suppose one man that has shone out in this first half has been Mark Mccauley with 4 points, all of them from frees, however, but there was some difficult frees and he slotted them over in some style.
He did. He kicked a couple of, I suppose the key one was the first one. I suppose it gave him confidence, and he's kicked some important ones there, and they needed them to keep them in touch. And I suppose at the other end of the pitch, Gavin Jones has kicked a couple of wonderful he kicked a super free kick from the right hand sideline, and one from an acute angle there on the right as well. You know, so free taking on both sides has been good. I suppose that both sides were saying not to give away too many free kicks in the second half, because both sides look like they'll punish any final in there. And
what do Ederney need to do now to turn this game round, to try and win their first championship for 50 years?
I think they'll need to get their big players more into the game. You know, Declan McCusker, Paul McCusker, Marty McGrath, they haven't really been influential in the game like you would have expect them to be. Now a lot of that again down to Derrygonnelly and the way that they're dealing with them. But I think if they're going to win, they will need them to come to the fore in the second half.
And a couple of early scores will be crucial for them.
Yes, it's much like last week's game where we'd said Ballinlough need to get early scores on the board, and if Ederney do here, then it opens up for them, you know, and it'll give them a bit of momentum moving forward into the second half.
Okay, Gareth, thanks again for joining us here on Fermanagh GAA TV. We will go to another advertisement break, but join us in a few moments' time when we will bring you full and live uninterrupted coverage of the second half of this Senior Championship final. Welcome back here to Brewster Park for the second half of this Quinn Building Products Fermanagh Senior Football Final between Derrygonnelly Harps and Ederney St Jospehs. One goal between the sides at half time, 7-7. We do apologise for those technical glitches in the first half, but I believe we are now up and running, and hopefully everything will go well in the second half in terms of this production, and Ederney will be hoping that things will go well for them as well. And the one that throw in there won by Marty McGrath. McGrath lays it off to McGee. Not sure where to go with it at this juncture. Lays it back there to Michael Maguire. Maguire then to McGrath. McGrath's ball, it looks as if it's going over this sideline over there. No, it's well kept in play on this occasion by Sean Cassidy. Cassidy looks out, looks for support, has it there in the shape of Chris Snow. in possession, or Decky McCusker, I think it is, over there on the far side. Yes, indeed, McCusker lays it off inside there, looking for Mccauley. Mccauley back, it goes to Conor McGee. McGee coming up across this wall of purple and gold jerseys that Derrygonnelly have lined up across the 45-metre line. The ball is now in the hands of Ryan Morris. Morris steadies down, gives it inside there to Marty McGrath. McGrath looking to inject a little bit of pace into this attack, but they managed to retain possession through Ryan Morris. Morris lays it off there to Aaron Dennison. Dennison back, it goes to McGee. They've held the ball here now for well over a minute of this second half as McCusker goes to ground. Still manages to retain possession. Ball eventually in the hands now of Ryan Morris. Morris spreads the play over the far side of the field. Back it goes to Johnny Irvine. The sun shines brightly here on Brewster Park. Marty McGrath in possession of the ball. McGrath, he's laboured for Ederney for so many years. He's laboured for Fermanagh on this pitch for so many years also. McGrath on this occasion is adjudged to be fouled, and the free will go the way of the men from Ederney. And coming out to take the free is Chris Snow. So possession retained there for about a minute and 30 seconds, Brian.
Yeah, and I suppose the game has started off in the second half just like it did in the first with Derrygonnelly, and actually at one stage there were 15 of their players inside their defensive 45. They're trying to nullify this Ederney attack, but a important kick here for Chris Snow, which will get Ederney off to a good start and reduce the deficit to 2 points if he can slot this one over.
45 metres out, Chris Snow, former Fermanagh goalkeeper, kicks it, pulls it badly however to the left hand side and goes wide. So first wide of the second half for the Ederney St Jospehs as Jack Kelly quickly lines up the ball, wanting to take the quick kick at it, and that gives me a moment to just say hello to a few people who are watching us from foreign lands. Danny and Ciara Ward down in Australia enjoying this game, and not to forget Bo's lost sons, that's Noel Gallagher, Freddie the Champ Maguire and Paddy McGee, also all based down in Australia. As Ryan Jones comes forward, they'll be pleased to see their captain of Derrygonnelly in possession of the ball, and the clenched fists of Ryan Jones will tell you that he is delighted with that point for his side, and that's a crucial score because Chris Snow missed one, and right back down the field come Derrygonnelly, and their captain and their leader Ryan Jones pops the ball over the bar, 1-8-7, Brian.
Yeah, crucial score for Ryan Jones. He's having a major impact on this game, and the consensus in the stand at half time was the kickouts were absolutely crucial for both teams. Jack Kelly got his kick out away there short, relatively easily, and now the long kick out from Ederney, and they've lost it again in the middle of the field.
That's the voice of Brian Treacy, former Devonish great and captain in 1996 when Devonish won the senior championship final, and also involved at county level with Fermanagh minors and seniors over many years. He's joined us here on Fermanagh GA TV for this afternoon's coverage as one of the Derrygonnelly players receives treatment, or Ederney players I should say, receives treatment down below us, and just as he is, that gives us time to thank our sponsors here this afternoon. Without their support and financial help we would not be able to bring you this production, so we thank McHugh Fuels from Ederney, G&M Windows from Mccauley, Mohan Memorials and the Enniskillen Carpet Centre. As I said in the first half, we have an awful lot of viewers from all over the world, as far away as Australia and Turkey and Estonia and Canada, Spain, Portugal and even Hong Kong, and when you want to go far you go to New Zealand. We have them tuned in from New Zealand and South Africa, from Sweden, from the Isle of Man and Bulgaria and the Netherlands. We hope they're all enjoying this coverage of the Fermanagh Senior Championship Final, sponsored by Quinn Building Products, as Mark Mccauley receives attention in the middle of the field. It looks as if it's a hand injury that he has picked up. It gives me time to mention the King of Brad, Martin Brennan and Patricia, who are in Spain, along with Eamon and Deirdre Green. I hope they're enjoying this coverage. Also Catherine Bess Cassidy, who's in America on holidays, all tuning in and all cheering on the Harps, I would think. And of course I mentioned earlier in the production about Liam Maguire, who was 87, celebrated his 87th birthday a few weeks ago, not able to be here today, recovering after a number of weeks in hospital. We hope that he's enjoying this coverage of this final. His brother Claude was the captain of the team in 1968, so we hope that he's enjoying this. And also one other man that I've seen in the crowd here is Father Sean McGrath. Father Sean McGrath, the great missionary priest. He's home from Sao Paulo in Brazil. One of the finest ever to wear the Ederney jersey. A stylish and powerful centre half back. And he played in the winning team in 1968. Believe it or not, along with his 6 brothers, Colm, Kieran, Brendan, Leonard, Morris, and of course Anthony, the father of Marty. So we are delighted to see Father Sean here this afternoon, and I hope he's enjoying Ederney's performance. They trail by 4 points, but the ball is in the hands of an Ederney man. That is Decky McCusker. McCusker slips it inside there looking for Sean Casti. Casti gives it back inside to McGrath. McGrath comes forward. Can he pop it over the bar? He does pop it over the bar. That's his 2nd point of the day. Well, Marty McGrath has been a wonderful servant to Ederney GA down through the years, and he's serving them well here again today, Brian.
Yes, indeed. That's the 2nd point of the day, and a great score it was too. And there's a bit of talk leading into this game that he may have been carrying an injury. I see his left leg is heavily strapped there, but he got inside the Derrygonnelly defence. Again, the Derrygonnelly had brought 14 players behind the ball, but there was good close control by the Ederney players. Slipped in McGrath and he knocked it over the bar.
Well, it's fitting when I was talking about Father Sean McGrath that Marty McGrath will pop up with the next score immediately after that reference. A nephew, of course, of Father Sean, and that's a tug down there. James Lewis wants to have a word with one of the Ederney players, and I think it is Decky McCusker he wants to have a chat with. Now, Decky's letting him know that he felt that his arm was the one that was being tugged, but the referee's closer to it, and he determines that that is well, it's a free in and nothing more than that, because as we know, Declan McCusker picked up a yellow card in the first half, and well, he was very wary that he wasn't picking up another one. We'll have a word from Brian in a moment about that challenge and whether it merited a yellow card or not, as this free has been lined up by Conal Jones. Jones yet to score in this game. Puts a shot in, but it goes to the left-hand side and goes wide. Your thoughts on that challenge, Brian?
I think Declan put his hand across the player, and Ryan maybe grabbed his arm and pulled both down. You know, players have been buying those frees for a long time, and James Lewis, I think, maybe fell a bit for that one. So probably got that one wrong in that occasion.
Well, ultimately it didn't result in a score, so Ederney won't be too displeased with that, and Ryan Jones again asserts his physical presence on this game, and that's a high challenge there by Michael McAleer, and the referee wouldn't surprise me if McAleer will go into the referee's book. The challenge was high. It was,
and I think that one probably does deserve a card. Michael McAleer swung the arm and caught Ryan Jones around the neck, and results in another free for Derrygonnelly. And Ryan Jones, as I say, his influence in this game is growing by the minute in the second half. He got a good score a few moments ago, and he's himself, along with Gavin Jones and Stephen Mccauley, dominating that midfield area again. Well,
Derrygonnelly winners in 1995 for the first ever time. They won it again in 2004 and had to wait another 5 years to 2009. But now they really are the kingpins of Fermanagh GAA. They have won the last 3 titles in 15, 16 and 17. They're going for their 7th championship win in their history. And of course, league winners 15 and 16 as Ryan Jones gets that kick away. A yellow card for Michael McAleer, but that ball goes to the right hand side and goes wide. Another wide for Derrygonnelly. That's 2 in a row, and if those were going over, Brian, Ederney will be in serious difficulties.
They would, but Derrygonnelly have missed these scores and have given Ederney an opportunity maybe to get back into the game. Again, long kick out from end of first to the middle of the field.
Be interesting to see who wins this one, and on this occasion it's won over there by Stephen McElroe. McElroe lays it off to McAleer. McAleer looking down there to find Sean Casti, but on that occasion the experienced defenders of Derrygonnelly are out in front winning the ball. Coming forward with it again is this man Ryan Jones. He's everywhere in this field. He really is playing a captain's part this afternoon. He lays it off to his midfield partner, that's Stephen Mccauley. Mccauley is fouled. Decky Casti takes the free in towards Paul Ward. Ward in a goal. Chance to shoot. Must be. Is a goal for Paul Ward. The ball is in the back of the net. His brother is in Australia and Paul is in ecstasy down there. He's delighted with that score. It's a goal for Derrygonnelly at a crucial juncture of the game. The ball is fed in from Decky Cassidy. Up went Ward. He turned his man. He faced, of course, end affairs, but he had the experience and the plum to net it, and that's a crucial score, Brian.
Absolutely crucial score. A great take in the air by Paul Ward, I have to say, and they're putting the Ederney defence under serious pressure. Ederney may feel slightly aggrieved, Ger, that the number of steps that Paul Ward took, and again in the first half he got a good score, but maybe took more than the 4 steps, but he took it fantastically in the air, went round the goalkeeper and slotted to the back of the net. And that leaves 6 points in it now, and you know it's a big ask for Ederney to come back from this.
Well, it looks as if Chris Snow's picked up a bit of a knock down there, and so too him and well, there's a bit of nonsense going on there between him and Colin Jones. We'll follow the play, and the ball is intercepted. Well, it looked as if quite a serious knock there on Chris Snow, and well, we're trying to watch the play and watch what's happening. And again, it's that man Ryan Jones who wins the free for Derrygonnelly over there. He has been an absolute colossus in this game.
He has, and Ederney have struggled to come to terms with his physical presence around the middle of the field, his powerful running from the middle of the field. He's been back foraging in defence, and he's been all over the pitch for Derrygonnelly today, and certainly has played a captain's role here.
Well, this is a big blow for the Ederney club. I was made aware earlier in the week that Paul McCusker was coming into this game struggling. It had been kept very quiet from what I gather, but it shows that he has struggled in this game, and now he's had to leave the field of play and he's replaced by Paul McGovern.
Yeah, huge blow for Ederney here. And we talked about Paul McCusker's industry and work rate, and probably something he wasn't able to influence the game today with that, because he was kept inside in the inside line, and a lot of people were wondering why was that the case. You know, he does most of his best work around the middle eight, even getting back into defence, sweeping up ball and attacking with pace, and certainly that wasn't in his game today, and obviously the injury has been impacting on him today, and now he's been replaced. Well,
it's disappointing for such a loyal and trusty servant as Paul McCusker not to play a pivotal role in this final, because he is an outstanding club player.
He absolutely is, you know, and as I say, his work rate and the heart he puts into games is just unbelievable, and it's something that Ederney have severely missed today.
Now, we'll bring you back to that incident earlier on between Colin Jones and Chris Snow. Snow picked up an injury from it, and the referee has now come and he's spoken with his umpires, and he's called Colin Jones over, and he wants a word with Colin, and it's a yellow card for Colin Jones on this occasion. So another yellow card for the Derrygonnelly man, and still a little bit of afters going on there between Snow and Jones. But James Lewis, he's handled this game well.
He has, he's done well in this game, I have to say. You know, a few calls, like all games maybe were disputed, but in general he's handled the game very well.
Long ball driven in by Ryan Jones, looking for his brother. Oh, brilliant, absolutely brilliant take on this occasion by Stephen Mccauley. Gathers possession, gives it back now to Gavin Jones. Jones lays it back to his brother, his older brother Ryan. Ryan from distance gets a shot away. If this goes over, well, it has gone over. Well, there's nothing more I can say about this man. He has just been thoroughly inspirational for Derrygonnelly today, and that point there says all about the quality of Ryan Jones.
He was 45-50 metres out, Ger, took the ball in the middle of the field, strode forward and slotted over the bar with ease. He's having an absolutely exceptional game.
Well, that stretches the lead out to 2-9 now to 8 points. That's a 7-point game, and they're brimming with confidence. And Paul Ward coming forward. Ward gets a shot away. Ward pops it over the bar. Another point for Derrygonnelly, and they've scored a goal and 2 points in the space of 3 minutes. The goal from Ward, a point from Ward, and sandwiched in between that was that magnificent effort from Ryan Jones. And now Derrygonnelly look to be in cruise control. They look as if they're going to win their 4th in a row, because the lead here double scores, 16 points to 8, and we've played 13 minutes of the second half.
It's hard to say way back for Ederney at this stage. You know, in the third quarter has been key for Derrygonnelly in a lot of their championship games, and as you say, they've really stepped up to the plate in the last 5 or 10 minutes. A goal and 2 points, and with Paul McCusker going off the field for Ederney as well, it's difficult to see where they're going to get the scores from.
Mcaleer tried to get a shot away. Was he blocked down? He was. The referee turned his back to avoid being hit with the ball. Didn't see what happened, so play continues. Decky Cassidy in possession, and now Ederney have to push forward, and that leaves them open on the counter-attack, and no better team on the counter-attack than Derrygonnelly Harps. Decky Cassidy gives it to Mccauley. Mccauley gives it back to Cassidy. Cassidy to Jones. Jones, there's a man in acres of space. That is Shane Mccauley. Mccauley screaming for the ball, didn't get it. Against Stern, it goes back there to Colin Jones. He gets a shot away, and Colin Jones with aplomb pops that one over the bar. His first point of this championship final, and more importantly than that, it stretches Derrygonnelly's lead out now to 9 points, and I would say, unfortunately from an Ederney perspective, that is game over.
Yeah, it's very difficult to see how Ederney can come back from this, and as you say, Ger, Derrygonnelly are adept at getting men behind the ball, stripping the opposition of the ball and then moving forward at pace, and that's exactly what they did on that occasion. And Colin Jones, as we know, a great kicker from distance, and kicked the ball over the bar from about 25 5 yards.
Stephen McElroon now comes off the field of play, but the ball is dropped on this occasion by Ryan Morris, and now Ward comes again. I think he'd be happy to take his point. Ward still has it. Did he go travel too far? Referee says no. Ward gets the shot away. Ward pops it over the bar, and he really has burst into this game in the last few moments. The 10th minute of the game, Paul Ward, I think, had failed to score. He now has he had 1 point in the first half. He now has scored a goal and 2 points in the last 5 minutes of the game, and that means it's now 2-12 to Derrygonnelly Harps and 8 points to Ederney.
Yeah, and again pressure on the kick out there from Ederney, and Derrygonnelly were able to turn it over. As we know, Paul Ward had 1 point coming into this game in his championship, and as you say, he's hit 1-2 in this game so far, and his influence in the game has certainly grown as the second half has continued.
Well, generous, very generous round of applause there for Neil Goller, who has been exceptional in this game. He makes his way off, and we'll check to see who came on in a moment, but there's another brilliant piece of fielding there by Ryan Jones. He has just been an absolute colossus for his side today. Jones fielding that and getting fouled. He's in possession again. Jones looks at the post. He couldn't deliver again, could he? Gets a shot away, when this time it's gone to the left hand side and gone wide. But look, I haven't seen a performance as good as this one for a long time from an individual in a county final.
He's absolutely having a fantastic game. But you know, always when you're looking at players playing very well, you ask the question then, you know, where are the men in the opposition that are trying to nullify it? And Ederney just really haven't been able to come to terms with the Derrygonnelly midfield. Their physical presence, as I say, Mccauley, Gavin Jones and Ryan Jones across the middle have really launched the platform for them for this what looks like a victory at this stage.
Yeah, well, Conor Cassidy comes onto the field of play now for Ederney, and he'll replace Mark Mccauley. So Mccauley's been excellent from frees, but maybe not what was expected, maybe an open play, Brian.
No, and Michael McAleer's gone in to the inside line now to see can they engineer a goal or two, which they're going to need in the last maybe 10-15 minutes of this game.
Kick out goes out on this occasion. It's one over there. Well, the referee, I thought that should have been a free for Derrygonnelly, but referee says no. Ian McHugh kicks the ball forward. Oh, heavy challenge there, and Colin Jones does well. Acres of space over here is Lee Jones. Still Colin Jones in possession, but the referee has brought it back, I think, to give the advantage. And now something is said to the referee, and it'll be brought forward as well. So things really going into meltdown nearly for Ederney. You look at 6 minutes into the second half, there was just a goal between the teams when Marty McGrath pointed, but since then it was 1-8 to 8 points. Since then Derrygonnelly have scored 1-4 without reply. Yeah,
and we've talked about the experience of this Derrygonnelly team coming into the game. You know, Ederney forwards certainly were well thought of coming before this match, and people were looking to see how they would manage against this Derrygonnelly rearguard, but certainly the experience of Derrygonnelly today has certainly told, and you know, they look as if they're going to run out easy victors.
Yeah, and Gary McKenna on this occasion with the free, and Gary McKenna is deadly accurate. He had scored 6 points in the championship to date. He can add 2 more to that, one in the first half and one in the second half. That one there now means that it's now 2-13. That's 19 points to Ederney's 8 points, and out the ball goes in the middle of the field again, and this time it's won by Mccauley. I think it was out there that won that ball. Brilliant bit of feeling as well. They really have it everywhere, this Derrygonnelly side. Ryan Jones back to Cassidy. Cassidy slips it here now towards the substitute that came on. That was Lee Jones. Lee Jones, we have 2 Lee Joneses on the field, so it was Lee Jones to Lee Jones there in that piece of play, and it's Lee Jones in possession where number 10 gets it to Eamon McHugh. He decides that he would like to maybe score a point in this championship final. Still McHugh, he's number 4 in his back, gives the ball away on this occasion. It's picked up by Ryan Morris for the Ederney men. The ball comes out here now towards Aaron Dennison, and really Ederney have struggled to get out of their own half for the last 5-10 minutes, and in that period the Derrygonnelly men have added on 2 goals and 4 points, 2 goals and 5 points to their tally. On this occasion it's another turnover, and Derrygonnelly come again. Ball in the hands of Lee Jones, the substitute who came on a few moments ago. There's a late challenge on him, and the referee brings the ball back and wants to have a word with one of the Ederney players, and it's Aaron Dennison. Ederney need to keep their discipline.
They do, Ger, but once again, the physicality of Derrygonnelly told there as Ederney were trying to work the ball out, they put the body on the line, I suppose, and turned over the ball for the umpteenth time today, and Gavin McCusker was just hesitated for a split second there, and the ball was snapped away from him, and now Derrygonnelly are on the attack once more.
Another substitution down below us, Tiernan Daly, who's had a very quiet second half and has to be said hasn't been troubled at all. He has been replaced by Oisín Smith, the 19-year-old. Another prodigious talent is Oisín Smith, and he comes onto the field of play. And a big opportunity for a young man to come into a county final at this juncture.
It is. We should mention at this stage, Ger, that there's a conveyor belt coming along from Derrygonnelly over the next number of years as well. They won the under-17 game, obviously, before this final, and have had numerous successes at underage in the last couple of years. So there's a lot of players, young players coming through, and they're being fed into the senior team, one or two every year, and that bodes well for this Derrygonnelly club going forward.
Certainly does. And Colin Jones on this occasion took that free. He was over 45 metres out, but it just shows you the confidence is flowing through the veins of every one of these Derrygonnelly players, and Jones popped it over the bar with little difficulty to leave it 2-14. That's 20 points when you tally it up to Ederney's 8 points. So this is a 12-point game. That's hard to believe that this game there was just a goal between the sides when we entered the 10th minute of the half. Now 10 minutes later it's gone from 3 points to a 12-point game, and that's courtesy of that goal from Paul Ward and a couple of points from him, a super point from Ryan Jones, Colin Jones with 2 frees, and a point from Gary Mccauley. Here come Ederney trying to salvage something in this game, but again turnover by Derrygonnelly. Decky Cassidy on that occasion gathers the ball, gets it to Oisín Smith. Smith comfortable on the ball, just introduced to the game, gets it now to Mccauley. Mccauley kicks it forward. A good tussle on that occasion between Lee Jones and Johnny Irvine. Irvine comes out the better of that one. The ball is in the hands of Ryan Morris, back deep in his own defence. Jones is still on the ground. Looks as if he's picked up a bit of a shoulder injury. We'll follow the play. The play is in the hands of Chris Snow. Snow gets it down to Sean Cassidy. Cassidy, he's 18 years of age. He's been tackled there by Paul Ward. Illegally so, says the referee. Free will go the way of the Ederney men. Sean Cassidy wants to take it quickly. Down it goes towards Decky McCusker, but there's 2-3 Derrygonnelly men there to pick up the pieces, and one of them is Lee Jones. Jones to Ryan Jones. Ryan Jones comes striding forward, fit, strong, purposeful, lays the ball off to Eamon McHugh. Full of running as this Derrygonnelly team. Back inside it goes to Gavin Jones. This is a terrific attack. Can it be sealed with a score? The answer is yes. That is a wonderful score from Derrygonnelly, and it was Gavin Jones who was on the end of it, and he slotted the ball over to bring his tally to 5 points in this game. But that's a wonderful team score, Brian.
Fantastic team score, nearly the full length of the field, I have to say, and expertly taken by Gavin Jones. And you'd have to say, Ger, that the marquee players for Derrygonnelly have really stepped up today. Paul Ward's been very good. Ryan Jones, as we've mentioned numerous times, in the middle of the field has been very good. Gavin Jones has had a good game as well, and those players have certainly stamped their authority on the game. For Ederney, I suppose it probably has been slightly the opposite. I know Marty McGrath has worked really hard in the middle of the field. Paul McCusker obviously had his injury and that curtailed his influence in the game, but some of the players that we were expecting more from in the Ederney team just maybe didn't produce what they were capable of today. And
Derrygonnelly look fitter and stronger, but I suppose when you edge into a comfortable lead, those attributes start to shine.
That's
out.
The thing, I suppose. When you're 10 or 12 points up, it's easy to cover the ground, and everything you kick seems to go over. When you're on the opposite side of that, it's a lot harder to get up and down the pitch, so it looks probably easier for Derrygonnelly now, as I say, with that comfortable lead as we head into the last 6 or 7 minutes of the game.
Lee Jones, who was introduced as a substitute, shipped a heavy hit from Johnny Irvine, has had to leave the field of play, so replacing him is Dennis Green. And when you have the quality of a player like Dennis Green, who's coming on as your 3rd or 4th substitute, that says a lot for the strength and depth of Derrygonnelly, because Dennis Green was one of the players of the championship final victory 2 years ago, and now he's on the field of play to see this game out for the last 6 minutes of the game. A couple of substitutes now being thrown on to the Ederney team. Damien Cassidy comes on in place of Sean Cassidy, and well, look at who's coming on now, and what a reception he will get. It's Kevin Cassidy, the man who's 43 years of age, comes on to play in his 7th championship final. Well, what a record that is. He's been involved in them all right from 1995. Well, this is a tremendous occasion for Kevin Keys Cassidy, as he's known as. He comes on in place of Shane McGullion. What a stalwart and what a servant.
Fantastic player, you know, when we talked about him before the game, and it's his football brain, I suppose, that makes him stand out. You know, he's exceptional. He sees passes and his vision and composure on the ball. And as you said, Ger, to be involved in 7 championships has been absolutely exceptional.
Ball fed in, looking for Colin Jones. Brilliant take by Jones on the left foot. Oh, that's just poetry in motion. Brilliant from Colin Jones. He took it high in the air at his highest point. He rose like a salmon, took it down, turned on his right foot, and then swiveled to get his left foot to pop it over the bar. And Jones is now starting to show the skills and the attributes that we all know he has. Derrygonnelly lead 2-16 to 8 points. Decky Cassidy now wins the ball out in front. It'll be contested there by Enda Ferris and Paul Ward, but on this occasion Ferris wins it with little difficulty, but it just shows you the hunger that's in the players such as Decky Cassidy.
Yeah, and that was something that was talked about in the papers all week from the Derrygonnelly camp, you know, hunger, and they said that they were as hungry this year as they were from 3 or 4 years ago when they won their first championship in this block. And a number of players referenced it as well, and certainly they can see it today. It was a great score by Colin Jones there, but again the physicality of Derrygonnelly came to the fore. You know, they was able to take the ball in the air, turn and slot the ball over the bar, and it was a very, very good score.
Well, Ederney now looking for consolation scores at this juncture. They got the last time they got a score was 20 minutes ago when Marty McGrath popped up to leave just a goal between the sides. They haven't scored in the last 20 minutes, and in that period Derrygonnelly have rattled off a goal and 8 points, and that has secured them 4 in a row titles, which is an amazing feat and an amazing achievement for this rural club, as the ball is in the hands of Conor McGee, and McGee comes up with a fine score on his left foot. That's his first score of the evening, but it'll just be nothing more than a statistic and a consolation point for Ederney and for McGee, but a fine score from Conor McGee nonetheless.
Conor McGee, yeah, and he's a very good talent, you know, but again a young player, and this experience will probably in the long term of his career will stand him in good stead. You know, he's been very quiet in the second half. When you're coming up against the midfield of Ryan Jones, Gavin Jones and Stephen McGullion, you know, you're always going to be on the back foot, but it was a good score from him. Damien
Cassidy wins the ball for Ederney, and it goes towards Paul McCurvey, but again the ball was looking to be threaded into the path of Conor McGee, but on this occasion it was intercepted there by Lee Jones. Lee Jones, a very steady, workman-like player, covers so much ground over the 60 minutes. It's just a workhorse, it has to be said. And now Derrygonnelly are happy to retain possession. McGinley gets it over here towards Mickey Jones. Jones in possession, lays it forward there, looking for the substitute. That was Oisin Smith. Now it's in the hands of Kevin Cassidy. Can he seal this victory with a point? Well, that would get the biggest cheer of the day if he was able to knock one over the bar, but in this occasion it was a late challenge by Finbar Gillen that deterred Cassidy from popping that one over the bar. We look at the watch, it says 27, nearly 28 minutes played. We have enjoyed bringing you this game on Fermanagh GA TV, and we thank our sponsors, McHugh Fuels, J&M Windows, Mohan Memorials and the Enniskillen Carpet Centre. I know that there's Ederney people out in New York at a wedding. Geraldine Ferris, mother of Enda Ferris, and the McHugh family all over at a wedding in New York. Well, I hope they've enjoyed the coverage. They'll not enjoy the result, but maybe they'll enjoy the celebrations or the evening out in New York as the Ederney ball goes in and it drifts off to the left hand side and goes wide, so a lot of people tuning in from a lot of places all over the world. I mentioned Martin and Brennan and Patricia and Eamon and Deirdre Green are in Spain and Hollis, so too are the lost souls of Bo, Noel Goller, Freddie Maguire and Paddy McGee, who are in Australia, Danny and Ciara Ward, who are also down under, and one other person, Catherine Bess Cassidy, out there in America on holiday, all tuning in and cheering on the Harps to what is 4 in a row, as a couple of substitutes are introduced for the Ederney side. And coming off the field now is Declan Cassidy, and what a rousing reception Declan Cassidy gets, and rightly so. He has been terrific in this game, and he's replaced by a very young man. That's Gavin Mcgovern, is it? No, that's coming on. No, it's not sure, Aidan McKenna, maybe they went on there instead. Yeah, Aidan McKenna. Well, he is a young man also. He's only 18 years of age, so great reception there for Declan Cassidy, who's had a super game. We look at the watch, it says 29.5 minutes played in this second half, and this game, well, it's petered out. It's been one-way traffic. 5 minutes of additional time has been adjudged to be added on, and well, I would have thought that Ederney could have done without those 5 minutes at this stage.
There were a few notable stoppages in the second half under Chris Snow as well, so I suppose the 5 minutes are probably merited. I have to say, Ger, when we talked about the underage success of Derrygonnelly over the last number of years, and a number of years ago, they started this programme in place of working with the underage. It's a big area, but they got themselves organised and have put a huge amount of effort in. And we talked about Brendan Ralsdale today, who's with Sean Flanagan on the sideline. And earlier in the summer, there was a Common One School Primary Schools final with one of the local schools from Derrygonnelly, and who was managing the team then? Only Brendan Ralsdale. So there's a huge work going into the area, and it's certainly paying dividends now. When people talk about the success of Derrygonnelly, but it's been built on hard work from underage, from the primary schools and Common One School right the way through, and it's going to result now in 4 championships in a row today. And
I suppose, as you mentioned that there, a lot of work that's quiet, done in a very quiet, unassuming way, out dedicated volunteers, out working with youth teams, and as you've alluded to, Brian, it's a conveyor belt that's now coming through Derrygonnelly, and they are going to be the kingpins for quite a considerable period by the looks of things.
Well, they certainly have the structures in place, Jerry.
Well, we'll just interrupt you for a wee moment, because that just spoils Ryan Jones's day. He's picked up a black card in the 31st minute of the second half, and I suppose, to be fair, the referee, I think, got that one right. He did pull down Marty McGrath and referee James Lewis. No sentiment there at all. He adhering to the rules, and unfortunately for Ryan Jones, he's had to make his way off the field, courtesy of a black card, as that ball is fired in, and Jack Kelly does particularly well. It was a shot that went in there from Paul McKervey, but Kelly stood his ground, stood firm, watched it all the way, and then was able to fist it clear as the sunshine comes out here in Brewster Park. Well, the sun is certainly shining on the maroon and gold of Derrygonnelly this afternoon, because in a few moments' time they will be crowned senior champions of Fermanagh for the 4th year in a row, as the ball is in the hands of Conal Jones. Jones in possession, 45 metres out. Anita Razzle down below me, talking of volunteers that do tremendous work in the club. Well, then you can only but highlight the likes of somebody like Anita. There's a big smile on her face, as wide as Lough Erne, because she knows she'll be celebrating tonight out in Derrygonnelly, because the New York Cup will be in Derrygonnelly for the 4th year in a row. The ball is in the hands of Mickey Jones. Jones, a stalwart of this Derrygonnelly side, comfortable in possession, gets it over the far side of the field towards Gavin Jones. What a game Gavin Jones has had. He's kicked 5 points for Derrygonnelly as another substitute is made. Well, this is the black card replacement, and it is Gavin Mcgovern coming on the field of play. And you talk about talent that's coming through. This young man's one to watch for as well, Brian.
He absolutely is, and there's just a constant conveyor belt of players coming through from underage success that they've had, built, as I say, on really, really hard work at underage level. And we look at the new dressing room complex. It's up a number of years now, but it's been put together by volunteers as well, and I suppose that tells you a lot about the club going forward as well, and what it means to the community there. And they've put in huge effort both on and off the field.
Well, it's far be it from me to advise any clubs what to do, but a lot of clubs in Fermanagh could replicate what Derrygonnelly have put in place over the last number of years, in terms of their structures and in terms of their work with youth, and in terms of physical developments as well, as Ederney come forward looking for a consolation score late in the game. We've played 33.5 minutes, just a minute and a half to go. Michael McAleer, he tried to get that shot away, wasn't successful, blocked down. Derrygonnelly still eager, still hungry, still wanting to press forward, still wanting to register more scores. They want to finish this game on a high. The ball is in the hands there of Oisin Smith. He elects to go back with it, however. Now Derrygonnelly come forward in the shape of Lee Jones. Jones coming forward. This will be the last attack of the game, I would suspect, as Colin Jones picks it up, treads the ball inside. Well defended on this occasion by the Ederney rear garden. The ball Ederney able to clear their lines, but this game is petering out now. We look at the watch, it says 34 minutes played. We've just one more minute of additional time left here in Brewster Park. Striding forward with it is Finbar Gillen. He's worked his socks off this afternoon. Gillen gives it inside looking for Marty McGrath. McGrath has it. McGrath thundering forward. McGrath, he scored 2 already in the game. This is a Gary Owen if I ever seen one. The ball doesn't break favourably. It doesn't break favourably for Ederney. It breaks favourably from the men from Harpland, as they call it now. Derrygonnelly in possession of the football. They're playing out these last few seconds. Remember, they were winners in 95, they were winners in 2004, they won it again in 2009, they won it in 15, they won it in 16, they won it in 17, and the history books will show that they've also won it in 2018. We've played the 35 minutes of this final. Now it's up to the referee what else he wants to play. Derrygonnelly lead 2-16 to 9 points. Ederney are in possession, looking for a consolation score. James Lewis looks at his watch. The ball is in the hands of the Ederney man over the far side of the field as Dennison drives it inside, looking for Marty McGrath. McGrath does well, catches it on the edge of the square. Still McGrath, closed down, needs support, has support. Ball's back out there in the hands of Dennison. Dennison gets the shot away, and Dennison gets what I would say is the last score of this championship final. It's a consolation score. It brings Ederney's tally up to 10 points. 2-16 to 10 points is what the history books will show when they are reviewed, when the 2018 final is reviewed, as James Lewis calls for the ball. It is all over, and Derrygonnelly are crowned the champions in Fermanagh for the 4th year in a row. The Quinn Building Products Senior Championship final has been won by Derrygonnelly Harps. There's a warm embrace down on the sideline between the respective managers, Michael Cassidy and Sean Flanagan, and so too Brendan Rasdell, Sean Donnelly down there for the Ederney team, and Adrian McGee. But at the end of the day, it was the class of Derrygonnelly that shone through, and Derrygonnelly have won their 4th in a row, and that in itself, Brian, is a tremendous achievement for any club.
A fantastic achievement for this Derrygonnelly club, you know, and really it was a comfortable victory today, Ger. Probably the physicality throughout the game. After the initial 5-10 minutes that Ederney sort of showed promise, Derrygonnelly began to stamp their authority in the game and played very, very well for the rest of it. There was 10 minute spell really in the second half where they blew Ederney away, and that also at that time Paul McCusker came off as well, which was a big blow to Ederney, and really they ran out comfortable winners. But we talk about hunger, and we're winning by 13 points in the last minute of injury time, and I have to say Eamon McHugh made a fantastic block to stop an Ederney score as well, and it just showed the hunger that this team has. And who knows now, Ulster's beckons again, and I know they feel they were unlucky last year but not getting to an Ulster final, so maybe that's what they have their sights set on now. I mean, they've won 4 in a row. Hopefully, or they're hoping, I presume, to progress on in Ulster as the competition unfolds.
Well, there's been some brilliant performances out there, but you'd have to speak about Ryan Jones in that, well, throughout the game, but particularly in that period that you alluded to there, that third quarter. He was just sensational.
Yeah, and prior to the match we talked about midfield, you know, and the 4 players that were involved there, Marty McGrath being there, and young McGee for Ederney as well, but certainly Ryan Jones, you know, he lorded it around the middle, set up everything that was good about them, got a crucial goal in the first half as well, where he lost his marker and slipped inside and finished to the goal then. And then the second half again he came into his own, you know, his high catching, he drove the team forward, prodding and probing with passes as well. Blotted his copybook at the very end, and probably saw something similar in the junior final, I think it was, you know, the intermediate final. There was really no need to do it at that stage, but he'll not mind tonight. Had an exceptional game, and a well-deserved victory for the Derrygonnelly club.
Well, great scenes down below us. Ederney McGovern, John McGovern, Mickey Glynn, all stalwarts of the club, and I suppose one man we didn't maybe mention too much about is their current chairman, John McGovern, and the sterling work that John McGovern has done over the years. He's led this club terrifically well over the last number of years. Yeah,
he certainly has, you know, a great GA man, and I think of Hugh Kelly as well. And I just note now, Ger, that the under-17 team have come out to join them as well, which is just shows again the community aspect of the club and bringing those players forward. And in the last 10 minutes the management team were able to run the bench, you know, and give some of those younger players experience of championship final day as well, which they'll be banking for going for future years.
Sean Flanagan down below is there. was an exceptional player back in 1995, came back in this year and elected, put his hand up and said that he was willing to manage the team, and he has them playing. That's the best performance that we've seen from Derrygonnelly this year, I would suggest.
It has indeed, and Sean, came in, and it was a difficult group to take over because they'd won 3 in a row, and some people might have shied away from it and thought, how can I build on this? But I suppose that maybe they're looking forward. Ulster now, as I mentioned, he was a great player, as you say, in 95 for the club, and again has invested a lot of himself back into it. One other thing I will say, Ger, I suppose it's up to all the clubs in the county now to step up to the plate, a bit like what's happening at national level with Dublin as well. And the other clubs, as you mentioned in the commentary, maybe need to step up, as I say, see what structures they need to put in place and see what they can do to potentially, how are they going to topple this wonderful Derrygonnelly team.
Brian, thank you for your contribution this afternoon. Don't leave us, because we'll probably get another word with you later on. We will now take a break, and we'll have the presentation ceremony with Greg Kelly and Ryan Jones, and we'll hopefully get a word from Gareth Caldwell, and then we'll be joined by some special guests from the Derrygonnelly Club. But from Fermanagh GAA TV, don't leave us. We're just going to take a quick advertisement break, and we'll be back with you very shortly. Welcome back here to Brewster Park and Fermanagh GA TV. We're joined here by a very happy captain of Derrygonnelly Harps, that's Ryan Jones. Ryan, heartiest congratulations on another championship final victory for your team, and you're delighted, and that was evidenced by your speech out there. This one probably means as much to you as the first one.
Definitely does, Jet. Anytime you win a championship, you can't take it for granted, and we probably knew that Ederney was going to be a massive challenge. There was a lot of talk about them coming into the final, but at the same time we knew the potential that we had. We knew if we clicked on the day that it would take a good team to beat us, and I suppose that cushion at half time was probably a slight breeze, and we had a 3-point advantage, and we just said, you know what, we're going to drive on here in the second half and try and close the game out, and just that's probably what we did, to be honest. And like every man stepped up, and I'm so proud of, I suppose, all my teammates and everybody that was involved to make this day happen. And
I suppose a lot of the talk during the week was about the hunger of Ederney as opposed to maybe the hunger of Derrygonnelly, but there was no let up from Derrygonnelly at all. The hunger is there to continue.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's once you get a taste for one, you want more and more, and I suppose, we were just concentrating on our own camp. Maybe there was a lot of talk about Ederney, about their hunger, but we really wanted to deliver a performance, and every man, there's young boys coming. We played a completely different team probably throughout the league campaign, and then boys are chomping at the bit to get playing. So if you haven't got the hunger, you haven't got the drive, more than likely you're not going to get your place in the team. So I suppose that was a big factor, And is that an important thing now in Derrygonnelly? These younger guys are driving the older, more experienced players on. Definitely, there's a few new fellas come in, like Oisín Smith, Gavin Mcgovern, Mckean. These boys have all been, tasted success with Derrygonnelly at underage. I think the under-17s won before us. Yeah. There's a few, quality players in that as well. And at the end of the day, they want to get up and get tasting a bit of success. So we know, the older lads know, that if you're not performing or if you haven't got the appetite for it, more than likely you're going to be brushed aside. So it's a massive factor, and it's something that we definitely tried to focus on throughout the league campaign. Was if we were missing a couple of county players, there was guys missing or injured, that was our opportunity to step up. There's another trophy in here. It's a man of a match award, and that went to yourself. During commentary, Brian Treacy and I spoke about your performance. We said it was probably one of the finest performances we've seen from you for a long number of years. You're an absolute colossus out there today. Yeah, well, I suppose last year, I had a lot of injuries and stuff, and I was probably late coming back into the club scene, even with Derrygonnelly. And this year, I suppose, with Fermanagh, we got ourselves in great shape, to be honest, with Rory and the rest of the team. And I suppose getting to an Ulster final was disappointing, but I really wanted to drive on then. And once we got back to the club scene, it was just about every man trying to really push the thing on. And look, I had a good game today, but as long as we got the result, that was the most important thing as far as I'm concerned. And what does it mean now for you bringing this trophy back to Derrygonnelly for the 4th year in a row? Oh, it's unreal, to be honest. There's still crowds of people out there wanting to get a piece of the action and getting pictures and all, and I suppose you got to savour these moments. And we have a good strong team at the moment, and I feel we felt we have to make hay when the sun shines as such. So there'll be a massive party in Derrygonnelly tonight. And we have people from Derrygonnelly who are spread out all over the world who are watching this production as we speak here. A few words to them, Ryan. Oh, well, it's a brilliant job what yourselves are doing to allow people like this that maybe can't get home for the game to watch it. And I'm just want to shout out and say I hope you enjoyed the match, and I hope you are proud Derrygonnelly people tonight. Well, you remain there 1 wee second, because I'm going to replace you now with your manager. Sean Flanagan's going to join us. But Ryan, you enjoy this evening, and thanks for joining us here on Fermanagh GA TV. Good man, Jet. Thanks a million. Oh, well done, sir. Cheers. Well done. Now, Sean Flanagan, a man who has been an absolute stalwart for Derrygonnelly Harps over the years. Played in 1995, of course, as I said earlier on, and now managing the team to a championship success. Sean, heartiest congratulations. Thanks, well done. Cheers. What does this mean to you personally? Oh, it's a great relief, all right. There was a bit of pressure on us coming back in. We were in a hiding to nothing, taking over after Archie, doing 3 in a row, and we're pressure on ourselves, individuals, because we want the club to do well and the team to do well, but after doing 3 in a row, we had to deliver a championship. So in fairness, the boys have worked really, really hard, and we knew we had a great squad to work with. You've had a terrific season, because I suppose it's something that hasn't been mentioned in our commentary here today, was the fact that you've gone all year throughout the league and throughout the championship now without one single defeat. What do you put that down to, even without
a host of county players.
Yeah, a few people have mentioned that, alright, but winning every game in the league doesn't really mean that much. Like, it's nice to be able to say that, but we were only taking week on week. The big thing we had young boys coming on. I know we had 5 or 6 county players that was away week in week out, but we had those. There was young fellas coming in and was doing good jobs for us week in week out, and didn't even, some of them the other day didn't even get on, only got on as subs the other day, so we have some right young lads coming on.
The future looks good for Derrygonnelly.
I don't know, but you can never say that, but we still have some good lads, and I mean they have to develop and be fit to play on a championship day yet, but they're doing alright at the minute.
If somebody told you this morning that you were going to win this game by 12 points, I don't think you would have believed that, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, we were taking Ederney really serious. I think the 2 games we had against them in the league was our toughest games probably to date. We really had a ding-dong battle with them in Ederney that day, and only that they were unlucky to get, they were 5 points up at half time, and we really had a knuckle down. They were unlucky to get a man sent off in the second half, and I think only for that we probably would have been closer.
So what changed today?
Yeah, I think Ederney probably not being here for so long is a huge thing. I mean, our boys is just seasons to it now, and used to the big day. And I think we were lucky got that goal in the first half and probably give us a wee bit of daylight at half time. And we still have we've men that can step up on the day and take scores, and we had that. But we had great defensive displays too in the second half, I thought.
And that third quarter that is synonymous now with Derrygonnelly, you scored when there was just a goal between the sides. You rattled off 1-8 without reply, and that was game over.
Yeah, well, that's one thing we tried to talk to the lads about, that if they got the sniff of going for it, that they have to go for it, that they're not sitting back defensive, that we're pushing on to try to get more on the board, And
Wardy's goal was crucial. He took it well.
Wardy,
we'll never hear the end of that one.
Wardy's Wardy. Like, I mean, if he gets a half a chance, we know him now. Like, I mean, he's done it for years and he's still at it,
But there was some brilliant contributions out there, none more so, I suppose, than the man who just vacated that seat a few moments ago.
Ryan was immense. Even the whole game, but especially in the second half, he really drove the thing on, and he's a real worker and really good. Put some great balls into places there when he was taking frees, and he just led the team to victory in the second half.
Played a real captain's part today.
Yeah.
And looking forward now, Sean, celebrations tonight, a league semi-final next week, and then the following week, I think it is the Ulster Club against, is it?
Well, it's the winners of Monaghan. The winners of Monaghan. Yeah, the winners of Monaghan. Yeah, it's next weekend we're out again Mccauley in the semi-final of the league, alright, and then the following week. So we have a few niggly injuries there. So Daly seems to have a bad enough ankle there. So
yeah, see them been carried off there. That's worrying.
Yeah, that is worrying now, alright, because Tyrion's a huge player for us in the centre defence there. So hopefully we can get it sorted, because after last year in Ulster, like, we felt we let it go. We should have been to an Ulster final, really. Like, and these boys have ambitions, and they want to drive on. They're not just going to make up the numbers on the day. So, but you need every player, like, on a big day like that. And the likes of Tyrone would be a huge loss if he's not making it. But we'll see how he develops over the next week or so.
So you'll go back to Derrygonnelly tonight, a proud Harps man, and you'll enjoy tonight. And from a personal perspective, it must be great relief and great satisfaction for you to come in and deliver a championship for your club today.
It is, yeah. I mean, we done it in 2009.
Yeah.
Myself and John McGovern was managing. We got it that, but we felt the next couple of years we probably underachieved, and I always felt before I got too old I would like to give it another few years, and it has worked well. Like, I mean, but there's a great bunch of fellas there, and
you're enjoying it.
Yeah, enjoying it. Yeah. Like to be involved and enjoying it. Yeah.
Well, Sean, look at thanks a million for joining us here on Fermanagh GA TV this afternoon. We've had a wonderful time over the last week or 10 days, bringing you comprehensive coverage of the intermediate final, the junior final, and today's senior final. We've had great support from our technical team and from the Fermanagh County Board, plus our loyal sponsors. So hopefully we will do it again in the very near future. But thanks to all who made this production happen over the last number of weeks, and from everybody here in Brewster Park, with a joyous Derrygonnelly contingent on the pitch and up here beside us in the studio, we wish you well and thank you for joining us on Fermanagh GA TV. Slán.
Thanks, Chad.